All right, so I am here with Latasha. What's going on, Latasha?
Nothing much, nothing much.
So I have Latasha here because this is pretty much our anniversary. This is around the time that I met her and her son at the Target house, and I thought it was pretty cool with us celebrating our 5 years of existence, which means we're celebrating 5 years of our friendship. That's been going on and strong ever since the very first day that we met. So this is a very special story because it means a lot to me. As a matter of fact, a lot of you probably have already heard it because I tell it quite often. And so I thought it would be good to share this story since it happened around Christmas time, of course. And so this would be the CHF Christmas Story with Latasha as our special guest. So, so it's been what 5 years since we met, and I remember that day like it was yesterday. I mean, we was at the Target house cafeteria. I can't remember who I was visiting that day, but you guys were sitting behind me, and I saw you all there, and I saw your son. He was crying, and I remember asking you, what was going on. So, do you remember how that conversation went about? Let me see how your memory is. See if you remember.
I believe so. He was upset. His dad had just had to leave to go back home. And of course, for any little one, it's hard for their parents to have to go back and forth.
Right.
So his dad had to go back home to work, and he was mad because he wanted him to stay there. It was so close to Christmas time.
Yeah.
And he was upset because he didn't know if he was going to be able to come in for Christmas or not.
So why wouldn't he be able to come for Christmas? I mean, I know he had to go back to work. So why wasn't he able to come back for Christmas?
We had been traveling down every other weekend. It's a lot of gas to travel back and forth. And money was tight, of course, Christmas, because we had just got a bunch of Christmas for him.
How old was he?
4.
He was 4 years old. Okay. I don't know why I thought he was 5, but I guess 5 is kind of like the magic number in this conversation. But so the CHF had just started. This is our 8th month of existence, and I always heard about the families that lost their homes and who struggle with car notes and electric bills and all of that. And so this story was very unique because the only thing that this mom needed, where the dad needed, was gas money to make a round trip. And I remember asking you, is gas the only thing that's keeping him from coming back home to spend Christmas with y'all? And you said, that's it. And I remember saying, girl, pick up that phone and call him and tell him to get his keys and pack his stuff up and come on here to Memphis. Because, I mean, if that was it, it was easy to be able to say, we're to cover the gas for him to travel here. Of all the things that we were doing, it was kind of new to me to find out that something as small as this was a need because you always hear about the big stuff. But so this was something small, and I remember going and getting a $50 gift card, I believe it was. And I don't even know this stuff. He was probably driving a Suburban or something big, and I'm just getting a $50 gift card because I didn't know. So we got the gift card, and he came on down. So kind of tell us the story about that.
He came back down and we had to celebrate Christmas, and it was very, very, very thankful and grateful for it because we didn't know it was going to be our last Christmas with him. So we was very excited. Ladarian was very ecstatic. He was so happy. He was happy other than no presents. He got presents, but he was so happy to see his dad back. He was happy. He got tired of Mom. He was like, Mom, can you just go home when Dad come down here? He said, well, I could, but Dad's working better, and Mom's better at doing this part right now.
There you go. Yeah, he was probably burned out because y'all had been there for how long at this point?
We had actually been there 8 months too. We came down in April.
Okay. So that's about when we were starting the organization. Okay. All right. So, and I remember, let me see, I can't remember specifically what day it was. For some reason, I want to think it was a Sunday that I actually got to meet Derek. And
it was the weekend. I'm not sure exactly what day, but yes.
Yeah. And I remember Ladarius's face. I mean, he was lit up. I mean, he was happy. As a matter of fact, I got a picture of him, his dad holding him. He's all smiles, and Daddy all smiles too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Good friends.
yeah. And you was kind of like sitting in the corner because they didn't want to have anything to do with you.
Nothing with me. Mom didn't matter when Dad was there.
So tell us about that particular Christmas. I mean, so how was it on? I often say that weekend. I don't even know if it was on the weekend or not. But so how was that Christmas having him there?
It was the best.
Yeah.
Like I said, the presents didn't even matter. Just to have him there, to have us together as a family, because it means so much. Especially when they're going through treatment and chemo. Yeah, his dad came down, but he could only stay like the weekend. Sometimes, he'd get a break from work and he would stay longer than the weekends. He'd stay a week or so if he could. But it makes it hard when the kids are used to being with them 24/7, except 8 hours of the day.
Right.
And their life's uprooted, going from seeing and living, with two parents, and then you're having to go through treatment on top of you don't feel good. And then you don't understand why either your mom or your dad can't be there.
Right.
So it was he was very happy to have him there. Like I said, it made the biggest, happiest moment for a 4-year-old. He was very excited, and I was very happy and very, very thankful.
Yeah, I mean, of course, he wanted dad. Of course, you wanted husband. I'm sure you wanted him there. Yeah, you wanted that attention and that break. As well, you wanted to spend that time as a family, because I don't know what Ladarius' condition was at that point. I didn't know if you knew, where he was.
He was actually doing fine at that point. We was almost done with treatment actually.
Okay.
And we was gonna be back. Like I said, he was planning on coming back one more time after that, and then that would be to take us home.
Okay.
After his birthday, he was going to come down, for his birthday party and stuff like that. And then the next round would be to take us home. So the end of January, beginning of February, we was going to get to go home.
Wow. Okay. So Ladarius had a wish, and that was for you to get his dad's last name.
Yes. We had been planning on doing that me and his dad have been together since high school.
Okay.
And we had planned on doing that for a while. But, of course, when your kids get sick, parents' needs and wants go on the back burner.
Right.
And when we did his birthday party. His birthday was January 12th. We did his birthday party the weekend before so family could come down. Because due for it being a 7-hour drive, that way family could not miss work, paychecks,
right.
so they could be there.
Right.
And we had did his birthday and stuff, and he had woke up. His dad had left the 13th, January 13th that night, because he had to get back to work, and this was going to be his last trip down until he brought us home. And he woke up on the 14th, Ladarian did, and he couldn't walk. And so I called the doctor and everything, and they got us back in for a scan, and a stat scan took us 2.5 hours to get the readings back. And I knew in my gut then something just wasn't okay. And the doctor had called us back and stuff, and his cancer was back. He had done 36 rounds of radiation, almost 7 months of chemo. Every other cycle he had to be inpatient because it was so crucial and it could hurt his little body. It could shut his heart down, they said. So he had to be inpatient every other cycle. And as quick as he got it in, as quick as he had to have it out with fluids. And we was on our last round of chemo, getting ready to start our last round of chemo. January 15th, actually the next day, they gave him a break for his birthday. And he woke up and couldn't walk. Went into the doctor, got the scans, and he had over 75 tumors still back up. And so I made the phone call. I couldn't tell his dad. I mean, how do you tell a parent that their kid's not going to make it? So I gave his phone to the doctor, and I asked the doctor to tell him, and he talked to us more times that day. He made phone calls. I think he was on the phone within the whole 7 hours because the doctor had told him he didn't know if he was going to make it till he got down there.
Right.
Because the cancer had already progressed so fast. And so
just that fast. I mean, if we're talking days.
Yes, he was already sleeping and wasn't waking up. He would wake up and it would like have good spurts and bad spurts. And his dad was just there the day before and he was fine.
Right.
But we didn't know that this one little one can make it to where they can't see or walk or he had brain cancer, so his was all over his brain and down his spine. So it affected his walking, his talking, the seeing. And thank God that he did, though. He pulled through, and his dad got to come down. And that's one thing he said. He said, let's get married. And you came in and took me wedding dress shopping. I was fine with just going and getting it done. Because, again, that was a material thing that didn't need to have, I didn't have to have.
Right.
As long as our son was there, I got to marry the man of my dreams. That was it.
Right.
But that was the icing on the cake because, at the time, we couldn't obviously, it wasn't a priority,
right.
a dress, anything special. Just the courthouse and bam, it's done.
Right. Well, of course, y'all know me is if we're going to do something like this, we're going to go all out. And I remember contacting Davis Bridal and telling them that we were going to come and look at dresses. And I had just got off work. And who was with you? I can't remember who was with you that day.
My mom.
Okay, it was your mom. And we actually went wedding dress shopping. I mean, I almost felt like the dad or the uncle going with her to pick out dresses. I mean, I'm literally just sitting down there watching her pick out dresses, try on dresses, spin in them, go in the mirrors and watch her, see what she fell in love with and what she wasn't feeling. And it was a pretty cool experience. I must admit, I kind of enjoyed it. And I think you had the time of your life as well, because I think that was kind of your princess moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so that was a cool experience. So yeah, we got her a wedding dress. I called my
for the wedding.
Yeah.
I said, when do you need it? I said, I'm getting married tomorrow.
Right. We need a dress that fits, that's the right length, just everything. The dress had to be perfect, and we managed to find the perfect dress.
Yes, I still have it.
You still have it. That's good.
Yep.
That's good. I have wondered if you still had it or not. But yeah, hold on to that. That's something special there.
Most certainly.
So I contacted my pastor and told him the situation, and so he was more than happy to be able to marry this couple. I don't know where Derek. I think Derek got a new suit and shirt and tie and all of that, but we didn't have anything to do with that. That was a whole nother deal. So I just hung with Latasha. So the wedding actually took place at our church, Shady Grove Missionary Baptist Church. And what was the date on that?
January 19th.
January 19th. Was that on a Tuesday?
I think so.
Okay. So Tuesday afternoon, we're there. Her family is there. I don't know, maybe about 10 people or so. I can't remember.
I think so. It was a bad snowstorm was coming in. So
yeah,
who can make it, who can not get there.
Right, I forgot about that. Yeah.
It was an ice storm. An ice storm was actually coming in.
Right.
Right in the path to us.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, okay. So I remember that day. You was gorgeous. You was beautiful. You was very emotional. I mean, it was an emotional event. I mean, one, you're marrying the guy of your dreams. You're giving your son his wish. And so what condition was he in at that point? Darren, what kind of condition was he in at that point?
He was not staying awake. He was hurting a lot. He had already lost the feeling in one side of his face. It almost looked like he had a stroke. But he was still awake off and on. You could tell and feel he was happy, just knowing,
right,
and being there. He was very happy, but he was already in intervals. He was sleeping a lot. He was not waking up too much,
right,
and he was hurting a bit.
Yeah, because I know that was important to y'all to know that, for him to know that you was actually getting married, that you was going to be officially a family.
Yeah.
And I know that I remember a couple of times he would open his eyes, but for the most part he just had his head on his dad's shoulder the entire ceremony, and that for me was a touching moment because I knew he wasn't feeling well, and yet I knew that this was something that was important to all of you. You wasn't doing it just because this was something that he wanted, but you guys had been in a long relationship, and you had already planned the wedding anyway. So I mean, it was perfect to be able to have him there and to witness it and be a part of it. Yeah. So you have the wedding. You go. I guess you go back to housing. Or did y'all leave that night? Did y'all leave that night or that morning after?
Yeah. We drove that night because
Okay.
the doctor had gave us a day to 2 weeks at tops.
Right.
He said he could pass on the car ride home.
Right.
And he
Yeah, I
just
know.
had his birthday that Wednesday before, I think it was that Wednesday before I said his birthday was January 12th and he turned 5. We didn't want a 5-year-old, if possible, to not pass away at the hospital. You know, if we was able to, we wanted to take him home.
Right.
And so we was able to take him home and get him home where he was comfortable in bed and his own space,
Right.
what he was used to as a kid.
Right. Right. So, okay, so his birthday, make sure I got the dates right. His birthday was on the 15th,
The 12th.
the 12th. You got married on the 19th. So you travel home that night through the storm.
Yes, and we ran in the snowstorm. The windshield wipers froze to the car. We had ice on the car by the time we got home.
So
It was awful.
So you already had the ice storm going on, so that was challenging enough.
Yes.
And then the doctor tells you there's a possibility your son can pass while you're traveling home. So what emotions are you going through? What are you feeling? I mean you had to be a wreck. Okay, there you go. You came back. You froze for a minute.
Okay, there you go. I was definitely a wreck. We had a lot of family come in. We had been there 9 months, and we had a lot of family come in. So they helped us pack up our whole room, and they all headed home. We headed home that night. So we had like 4 or 5 probably cars in front of us of our family. So that helped, to reassure that we wasn't doing this alone.
Right.
Me and my husband got in the car. He drove us. I'd sit in the back seat like having a newborn again because I was so nervous. My husband said, "You can sit up front." I said, I can't right now. I got to be right here, even though, I couldn't do anything.
Right.
I just needed to be right there. We stopped at the Flying J in Arkansas and had to fill up because that was our halfway point. And we got home probably at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, the next morning.
Yeah.
And just carrying him inside and laying him in bed, he was so at peace. You could just feel him. The reassurance of being safe or being at home or just being happy what he had left. He didn't know he was passing. I couldn't tell him. But he was happy. He was relaxed to be at home.
Sound like little brother back there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, you made it home. He made it there. So, his birthday was on January
12th.
You got married on January
19th.
And so you took the road trip home. You got home early that morning. So everybody made it home safely. So with you knowing that there could be any day now, so what are your emotions like day to day, or maybe like minute to minute? I guess in this case, because he's already weak and not really responsive. So what is it like for you? Look at that.
It was, you still at disbelief that it's not going to happen, that there's going to be something change. That's your kid, that's your baby. At the time, that was our first and only kid. We didn't have his little brother at the time. And so we got home, and I didn't call hospice that night because I ended up having to put him on hospice because he didn't go to the hospital. So a nurse could come in and check on him, and make sure he was okay as could be. And they came a day later, and got us in. And I don't know if anybody's ever had to sign a DNR on a family member, but I had to sign a DNR on my 5-year-old. And that was the hardest part. Just because whenever he was passing, there was nothing that I could do. You're taught when people pass to save their lives, to do CPR. I could not do that. I had to sit and let him go, because knowing that there's nothing that they could do. He had over 75 tumors. So his life was coming to an end. There was nothing that I could do. And we got all that straightened out. And he did wake up again when we got home. A couple days later, he wanted to watch a movie with his dad. So we got him propped up, and he watched Johnny Test. And he said, "It's like a movie theater in here, Dad." And he stood up, and he wasn't up very long. The nerves was getting pushed on by the tumors was what we had figured out, because he had got to saying that it was getting hard to see. Mm-hmm. And so he told him, "It's okay, buddy. You can go back to sleep and just rest." And he did. And after that, he didn't wake back up. He was still with us, but he didn't wake back up. And he passed away on January 25th, about 8:10 p.m. Hospice that came, I was right there with him. My mom and my dad, my mom and his dad, we was all right there. And, when he passed, I just kind of looked at my mom, because you don't want to believe that it's true. But when someone passes, you know.
Yeah.
Their chest isn't going to rise again, that they're not going to take another breath, that you just know. You have that feeling. And I waited and I waited. It seemed like forever. It wasn't very long. And my mom reassured me, he's gone. He's not here no more. So I had called hospice, and they came and did their thing and pronounced him, and the rest of the family came back, because they had all just left. So we could get a little bit of rest, because it was nighttime. I don't know that we did get rest,
Right.
I don't know what sleep was those couple of days we had him home. I was very grateful, though, very grateful. But to get him home, and then the family came back and said their condolences and helped me get him together and get him prepared.
So that goes to show how important that Christmas was for you guys. For you to spend that holiday together as a family, because you can go back to that Christmas in 2015 and look at those pictures where he was just, smiling brighter than a light bulb. Yeah, that dude was so doggone happy. Yeah, he was smiling. When I came to visit, he was smiling the whole time. And like I said, the only thing he wanted was Daddy. And Daddy was smiling.
Yeah, nobody else mattered.
yeah. And Daddy was smiling just as big as he was. So
yeah.
So I mean that would probably be one Christmas that you will always remember. And I'm glad that that happened for you guys. And then you get the gift of being a family. Shortly after that, you get the gift of celebrating that 5th birthday. And so all of that kind of comes together it's sad the way the story ends, but there's so much happiness in that story within, that's it was January 25th or 23rd, 25th?
Yeah.
So
25th when he passed.
So we're talking actually a whole month during that time frame. So, I know it's kind of tough to tell the story, but, with it being an anniversary, because it touches me a lot. And when I tell the story to other people, they're just like, wow. Of course, I don't go into great detail like we're going to here, but I think it's important to know that the other side of the chemo that the families go through, the struggles that that you all face. So I'm glad that you're willing to come and share this story. But the good thing is you were able to have another son who
Yeah.
was 2 years old. He's sitting over there doing his thing.
Yeah.
So
Are you gonna fish? Who's I? Now you gonna say hi.
he waving at himself.
That's nice. And he had a little sister. They had a little sister on the way,
So you got a little
she'll
sister
be here.
got a little
Yeah.
sister in the oven. So the good thing is you're still able to grow your family, and still be together. I mean, it's a blessing that after all that you all went through. I mean, you and Derek, y'all still together and in love and all that kind of good stuff. So that's a wonderful thing. And I mean, I'm happy for you. I miss seeing you. I know we talk, maybe every 60 to 90 days. But I mean, here it has been 5 years, and every now and then we'll shoot that "Hey, what's up?" text message. And no matter what time of day it is, it's usually like in the middle of the night. But and I, but I appreciate you, and I appreciate the friendship. I can't remember how many days before Christmas it was when I met you guys, but I know it had to be like the week of.
Yeah, it was closer. I don't remember either. It's been, I feel like many moons ago, and then at times yesterday.
Right.
Because with it being the last Christmas, it's emotional and hard.
So do you
Because it was our last.
do you think about that a lot? Is that something that you think about every year? I mean, the Christmas, then his birthday was like shortly after that. So is this kind of like an annual thought? Yeah. Because I mean, I know, of those who may have lost their little one like the day of, or the day before, the day after. So is it every holiday and every in this season, is it tough for you?
It is. Christmas in December, family get-togethers are really hard because everybody has their families there,
Right.
and our family's there, but it's not whole.
Right.
It won't ever be whole.
Right.
You meet those people, and they say you're doing good, and we have our days, but it's still, we lost a part of us the day that we had to bury our son. I mean, our 5-year-old son.
Right.
Life won't ever be the same. You try to move forward and move on. I don't really know that moving on and moving forward is the right word because I have my days. But December and January is really hard, especially because it's Christmas, and then 2 weeks is his birthday, and then 2 weeks is his passing. Our anniversary is in there, and it's
Right.
to be happy,
Right.
but it's so sad at the same time because we don't have our whole family. I mean, you expect in life growing up, you expect your parents, your grandparents, brothers, your sisters, spouses, friends, possibly to all go before you.
Right.
You never think that you would have to bury a child, or I didn't at least, at all, and then to lose them to cancer was another thing. It's tough, but I'm very thankful for being down there. As crazy as it is, I mean, I miss being at St. Jude's. All the families that we met down there, they helped us a lot. Meeting everybody down there, it's like your family away from home. And then, like you said, we've stayed in contact for 5 years. I mean, because y'all came into a part of our lives. It wasn't just a day at Walmart,
Yeah.
It was a very special part
Right.
of our lives. So it's y'all are family. Everybody that we met on that journey is family.
I appreciate you kind of taking that journey back 5 years ago because, like I said, I remember it like it was yesterday. I mean, I can visually just see that whole scenario when I first met you guys. I see when I came to visit and meet Derek. I remember picking out not picking the wedding dress, but meeting you there so we could pick out a dress, buy you a dress. I mean, I would never ever forget that.